Hey, you listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MPR. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey.
Uh, big week. Big week this week. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, they threw some people up in the air and they landed in completely random and different places. And we're here pretty much to break that down. The very first landing in a completely random place was, pretty early on in Raw with The Miz transitioning himself over to Raw.
For the second year in a row, he's the first draft pick, quotation marks, around the draft.
Yeah, I don't know what's the storyline, behind them switching this time? Did they pick? Is that what it was?
No.
Just completely random.
Just anybody could show up randomly.
Fair enough. Well,
last year it was a special case because it was like, with Miz, it was like, we're taking him off of Raw and putting him on SmackDown because Daniel Bryan wants him on SmackDown.
Yeah. But as you say, Raw, he gets The Miz. We'll see what that's gonna do for The Miz. Potentially opens up a few extra avenues. It does pull him away from Daniel Bryan, so if we ever had any hope of that reigniting, won't be in the short term. Potentially puts him back in the mid-card title picture.
No, it does. Well, I was going to say it does put him in position to get his 9th Intercontinental title reign. And then I remembered that's not going to happen.
That's why I quickly switched to saying mid-card title instead of the Intercontinental title. Because as you say, Finn Balor has been traded on over to SmackDown the other way.
Yep, so that's basically a 1-for-1 trade there. You get Miz, who's an upper mid-card, main event type person. And you've got Finn, who's an upper mid-card and occasional main eventer, going the other way.
It does leave us with both mid-card titles over on SmackDown for the time being. I've heard whispers and rumors that Joe was meant to go the other way, to even them out, but as of right now, the SmackDown.
Yeah, Joe was too sick to appear on Raw. So, and so I'm just gonna say he'll appear next week.
Yeah.
And that'll even things out.
And then Miz can just go after Joe and try to get the United States title or be killed because it's Joe. But with Finn Balor jumping over to SmackDown, he got a competitor one last time on Raw, and that was Andrade.
Yeah, Andrade's definitely picking up a little momentum, and him coming over to Raw, I think will be a good thing. It'll give him some fresh feuds, and I think he can benefit from the mid-card area on Raw.
Because he went over Finn as well on Raw. So it's not like he's just going to be swept under the rug pretty quickly. But he also came over with his favorite friend, Rey Mysterio.
All the while telling Zelina to relax.
Of course this is going to be like a pre-made feud still sitting around there, but I don't know if we're going to open up with it, or whether it's just a case of both of the men transitioning themselves to Raw for the meantime. We will have to wait and see what happens with them. Of course, though, with Rey Mysterio's appearance on Raw, he did decide just to get attacked by Lars Sullivan, because why not? That sounds like a fun Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, clearly Lars has an issue with veterans in the business.
We'll see how it goes forward for Lars, because I believe I'm going to scroll through my list.
He was confirmed to be selected to SmackDown.
Okay. Yes, I see his name. He is going to be on SmackDown, and he hates R-Truth as well.
Yep, he killed R-Truth in the process too.
So I guess that debunks the theory of Attitude Era stars, or?
Well, you gotta remember, he was K-Quick in the Attitude Era.
You make a good point. I still didn't think it was that long ago. I knew it was ages ago, but oh my god. Okie
Yeah,
doke.
it was 99 2000 when he first debuted in his first go around. And he's been back with the company as R-Truth since 2009. It's either 2009 or 2007. Either way, it's still been over 10 years.
Yeah, it's a long time. But Lars will be beating up all of those veterans over on SmackDown. So the tag team division on Raw getting a bit of a shake-up here. Because they've got the War Raiders coming on over under 3 new names.
And I don't really mind the name the Viking Experience.
Everybody else in the world does. It'll grow on me, I'm sure. I just really liked War Raiders, as I believe that's also how everybody else is reacting as well, as they just really liked the old name.
Yeah, but sponsors be danged.
Yeah, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with War or Raiders. It's a perfectly fine name for a tag team. And then they get their individual names updated as well. Now we have an Eric again. But it's Eric.
And an Ivar.
Yeah, it's an Eric with a K, so it's not a dweeby guy. As soon as you change that C to a K, it becomes a Viking. That's how it works. Yeah, and Ivar, which at least sounds like a Viking as well. So I'm sure the name changes will grow on me.
Yeah.
It's something
Let's see where they go with them first. Then we can judge on the name. That's my opinion. Let's see what they do.
Well, I believe they're still the reigning NXT Tag Team Champions as well, so they're going to have a little bit more time down in NXT to dump off those belts, but they did debut with a win, teaming up with the Revival to defeat the Raw Tag Champs and another NXT Tag Team, Aleister Black and Ricochet.
Not anymore, they're Raw stars now.
Boom. There's the transition. Aren't you happy?
I'm extremely happy. I was scared to death because they never confirmed it on the actual show, but then they confirmed it on the .com, and I'm like, yes.
As soon as I saw the announcement, I was like, he'll be happy. He'll be happy. Obviously, I'm pretty sure we've mentioned it on the show, but you're going to see a Raw show in, how long is it now? You'll know the days.
12 days.
And
from the time of its recording.
And Ricochet, I believe, is from your home state?
Yep, he's from the other side of the state, but yes.
Still counts. It's like when Kiwis say that Australian sort of is close enough to them. Except even closer than that. So yeah, you'll get to see him, unless maybe he gets injured in the next 12 days. Just putting that out there. I feel like now if that happens, though, I put that in the universe. I'm going to take it back. I take it back. That's not going to happen. But let's move on to another tag team who's going to be making their way to Raw. It's the Usos.
It's time for a change for them. So, yeah, I'm fine with that. They can put some other teams over and elevate the division a little bit. And their presence makes it stronger anyway.
Yeah, I believe most people sort of expected this after the title drop. And it seemed as though a lot of the mid-card swaps between Raw and SmackDown were even. A lot of the main event upper mid-card swaps were even. But on the other side of some coins, it felt like we were bolstering up Raw's tag team division. You know, they got the Viking Experience, they got the Usos. And then over on SmackDown, we were bolstering up the women's division. They got a lot of strong women's talent going over there.
Oh.
So it seemed as though...
Yeah, made an already strong women's division just insanely strong.
Yeah, those were sort of the 2 points where this shakeup wasn't necessarily balanced, is Raw's tag team division and SmackDown's women's division. But we'll have to see where it rolls from there, in terms of will that actually help out in the long term. But we'll find out. Sami Zayn, he's putting his little flag down on Raw.
Yeah, we finally got him away from Kevin Owens.
It took a long time, but they've also managed to like flip the alignments on it now, where you hate Sammy and you love Kevin. So hey, they're making some changes with
Well,
these two.
at least for now.
Hey, come on, have some faith. Have some faith in the Big O. But yes, Sami Zayn over on Raw, and Kevin Owens has planted his flag over on SmackDown. And when he plants his flag over on SmackDown, he's planting it with the New Day for now.
Yeah, at least for 1 week with the being in Montreal, his hometown. It makes sense.
He'll stick around. I'm sure. He's not going to turn on them immediately.
Well, he didn't turn this week.
He survived a lot longer before turning than everybody had given him credit for.
I was expecting the turn to occur right after the match ended.
No.
So, yeah.
The Big O is loyal to the New Day. He's going to be the third member going
He's
forward.
also full of pancakes, apparently.
Yep. To be fair, in the short term, if this isn't going to lead to a turn real quick, he's a fairly decent fit. And can do that sort of comedic-y, serious-y type role pretty well. But I believe his days in the New Day are numbered. As does everyone. I'm pretty sure everybody sees
he was also listed as an honorary member.
So maybe they'll have a whole like redemption arc where he tries to get to be a legitimate member, and then it's Big E that turns when he returns from his injury because he's mad that they've replaced him, and instead Kevin Owens just remains a member. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that one might be a bit of a stretch.
Just a little. We probably got time for some more stuff. Naomi coming over to Raw's women's division.
Yeah, that's probably the strongest pickup that Raw got for their women's division.
Well, the fact that all they got was Naomi, Zelina Vega, who's acting mostly as a manager, and Lacey Evans. Yes, I'll agree with you. They didn't get a whole lot in terms of their women's division, but they did get Naomi. We'll see what happens in terms of her usage going forward. As for her first night, she was put in a temporary tag team that was immediately broken up anyway, so it's fine. And we did mention Lacey Evans there, so I'm going to put her in here as well. Planting her flag as Becky Lynch's challenger, but purely her challenger for the Raw Women's title.
Yeah, they seem to make that as a express point that she was the number one contender for the Raw title, not for both titles, which makes us believe that Becky is going to have to defend both titles on a show.
Yeah, be interesting. I'd like to see her retain both of them for the first one.
So then the question becomes, who would be her first challenger for the SmackDown Women's Championship?
Well, over on the SmackDown side of things, not only do you have the already strong division, as you said, you also have the new additions of Bayley, Ember Moon, Kairi Sane, Liv Morgan, and Mickie James.
Liv Morgan and Mickie James were quietly put on SmackDown, as they were announced on the .com and not on TV.
Yeah, but take your pick from any of them. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Yeah.
Or just pick someone who was already on SmackDown. Fine. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
I'll go with Carmella for the first one, as an off-the-wall one.
Okay.
Assuming she doesn't get killed by Lars Sullivan beforehand.
No, she didn't wrestle in the Attitude Era. It's all good. She's fine.
Yeah. I think, while we had a bunch of big names, I think the biggest name the biggest change will be Liv Morgan coming to SmackDown.
Yep.
I think they're going to make her a major player over the next year or so.
Yeah, I was going to say there, because you were talking about Carmella being your off-the-wall pick. My off-the-wall pick is Liv Morgan going in as first challenger. I could see it being a, here's your shot, let's see what happens. And I wouldn't be against it. We got to play a song now. And you've chosen SmackDown's theme, probably because they won the shake-up Is that why, or are you just because of SmackDown?
It. I figured. I think this. The shakeup was pretty even.
Okay.
It's just the power of that women's division.
Yep. All right. Well, that is our theme, and let's play it for you now. And you're back with a wrestling roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, NPR. I'm Grady. He's Josh. We still got so many switches to go through here. We haven't even finished with Raw. We're going to go back to Raw, and we're going to say that EC3 finally decided that Raw was his home, and then immediately regretted that decision.
Yep, he got killed by Braun Strowman, who was just messing around with him because, well, Joe was too sick to come out and play.
We saw that feud already be pre-made last week. We thought it might have been a SmackDown feud. It's not. We're switching over. It'll be a Raw feud going forward. But honestly, EC3, I have one question. Who did you piss off, man?
Apparently Vince McMahon. Apparently Vince doesn't like him.
Mate, just don't. I got nothing for you. And then we're gonna go with, I've probably missed some, but we'll get there in the end, the last on-television swap for Raw. Main event player, we went one main event for one main event, but Raw got AJ Styles.
Yeah, he lost the house, but apparently he gained a yard.
They just sort of switched. Reigns walked inside and said, "This is my house now," and AJ Styles walked out and settled up on the lawn. Personally, I prefer the house, but hey, whatever.
I can always build a new house on the yard.
This is the true point.
And then Roman can destroy the house and build a new yard.
I was going to say that Seth Rollins could burn it down, but that may have been a little too on the nose. So yeah, AJ Styles is on Raw for now. Let's see some new combos coming out of him. Yeah, and by that I mean facing Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, and Bobby Lashley in some combination for the next 6 months.
Yeah. I actually expect AJ versus Seth at Money in the Bank for the title.
Yeah. That's my hope. Will I get it? Different question.
By the way, I think Drew wins the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Yes!
Now that Big E's injured and can't win it himself.
Don't care what it took. As we alluded to there, though, Roman Reigns heading on over to SmackDown.
Yep. He'll definitely become a major player. We'll have to see how on the SmackDown side. But he started off with a bang, but punching the boss.
Yeah. Because the boss tried to mention that Elias was the biggest draft pick for SmackDown. Clearly ain't true.
Nope. And now Fox is very happy.
They didn't get their Brock Lesnar, but they got Roman Reigns. And a strong women's division. So, I'm hoping that was all of the on-TV Raw stuff, so now I'm going to go down the list, see who I missed. Eric Young, also on over onto Raw to break up Sanity.
Yeah, he was just announced by a video package. The one that concerned me that they didn't mention Ricochet and Black. Yeah.
It seems as though Sanity is now truly broken up.
Yeah, because one left the company, one is on SmackDown, and one is on Raw, and the one on Raw is probably going to tag with Bobby Roode, the reformed Team Canada.
Oh Jesus! Don't remind me of Team Canada.
Team Canada.
I've heard differing things about Wolf, but he's clearly not going to be remaining on SmackDown. But yeah, as you say, Eric Young's over here, Killian Dane, Nikki Cross was already broken off Sanity. It is truly separated from all directions. And then lastly to Raw, we got Cruiserweight Cedric Alexander.
I'm glad that the people that have nothing left to do on 205 Live are beginning to be spun off.
Mm-hmm.
Because you started that with Ali shifting off from 205 Live to SmackDown.
Yeah.
And then on Monday, you had Cedric Alexander end up on Raw. And then on Tuesday, you had the former Cruiserweight champion, Buddy Murphy, end up on SmackDown.
Yeah. And I think that's how it rings true again, that this is nice and even of a shake-up, is that it was, one Cruiserweight to each show. They're pretty fairly even Cruiserweights as well. But yeah, Buddy Murphy up on the main roster. Technically, I don't know if 205 Live counts, but now he's on SmackDown. Can you tell I'm happy?
Now, let's see what they do with the best kept secret.
Probably nothing. Oops, did I say that?
I can see him feuding with Finn.
I'd cross my fingers. Let's see. Paige promised to bring a really good women's tag team over to SmackDown Live. She did. It was NXT's Kairi Sane teaming up with Asuka. Not quite the Sky Pirates, but close.
And seemed to piss off a lot of people on the internet in the process.
Yeah.
And having them claim racism and stuff.
Some people are nutters.
Yeah. I'm perfectly fine with it. If you're going to leave Io Shirai down in NXT to deal with Shayna Baszler, then this is the best thing to do if you're going to bring Kairi Sane up. And it gives Asuka a mouthpiece. That will definitely benefit her.
I'm pretty sure these three women, including Io Shirai, have been, close friends. They've worked together. They've, I'm presuming, teamed together plenty of times. It's not insane for this to be the combination instead of Io, if she is, as you say, staying down on NXT for the time being. It's a possibility that maybe she comes up later on and they team up as a trio. But
and let me remind people that they were ticked off that Asuka lost the title and then had nothing to do for WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
She has something to do now.
Yeah.
She has a storyline. She has purpose right now, rather than just floating around doing nothing.
Because on SmackDown she teamed up with Ember Moon and Bayley as well. 2 more new SmackDown Women's Division pickups.
Yeah. Ember's going to be a major player. I feel like we've definitely seen the beginning of her push there. And I think we also saw the beginnings of a heel turn for Bayley.
She's not waiting for Sasha Banks anymore. She's fed up.
Yeah, and that's another reason why the Raw division is so bad right now, is because not only did they lose 4 big talents and Liv Morgan, who will probably be a big talent, but technically wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a big, gigantic question mark over Sasha Banks and her status. So that leaves the Raw division with Alexa Bliss and a bunch of nobodies.
Oh, come on, Nia Jax is still there.
Injured.
Damn it. Alicia Fox, maybe? Sort of MIA, maybe still? I'm gonna just move on. But as you say, Raw lost a bunch of big-name women, and that includes Mickie James silently being shafted on over to SmackDown. They really wanted to bolster this division, didn't they?
Yeah.
And that's what I think it came down to, because arguably, 80% of the really good talent is over on SmackDown. You can't complain that they got shafted. And all the tag team stuff wasn't one way either, because Heavy Machinery, well, they're coming on over to SmackDown.
Woo! Otis on SmackDown. That ought to be fun.
To be fair, I would love Otis on SmackDown. I would love Otis on Raw. I would love Otis on the moon.
I would love Otis with green eggs and ham.
I feel really bad for Tucker purely just because Otis is so damn brilliant. that whenever the conversation comes up, most people are going like, "Oh yeah, I love that Otis guy." It's like Tucker's a great talent too, and has great comedic timing off of Otis. The duo is quite amazing, and I look forward to seeing them week in and week out. And finally, 2 more SmackDown Live pickups. Chad Gable to break up Gable and Rude, and Apollo Crews. I'd say to break up the Titus O'Neil thing, but that's kind of been broken up for a really long time.
Yeah, and Cruz has actually been gaining ground on Raw of late too. So I definitely think this might be a good move for Cruz. Of course, I could be wrong, and he could end up being jobber extraordinaire, but
it's possible.
But I have hopes for him.
I have hopes for Chad Gable, but I've had hopes for a couple years now, and yeah, those hopes are starting to wane. But is there anybody I missed? Because I'm hoping I got everybody. We're nearing the end of the show.
I can't think of anybody, which probably means if there was anybody, they weren't important.
That's a nice way to end it. It's been great talking to you.
Bye.
Visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/WrestlingRadio, Twitter page, twitter.com/WrestlingRadio, and we'll be back at you next week.